Well, welcome everyone. I hope you had a really wonderful Easter holiday, Passover, whatever, spring break, whatever you celebrated. I had 12 people here for Easter dinner, and I put on I wear my Fitbit watch, and I put on 15,000 steps 4 days in a row. And so by the time my sister tried calling me Easter night, I said, I cannot talk to you. I am too tired. And she didn't understand. She's the non-chef of the house or non-chef of the family. And so I've been, yesterday it was a little slow, but I've learned you have to just give yourself time afterwards. So I hope some of you were on the receiving end of the cooking opposed to the cooking, and that you enjoyed time with your family and friends if you have them near you. This is another one of our monthly member-only meetings. And as you can see, the Rochester women showed up in force, along with Jackie, Michael here in Syracuse with me. And we've been doing these monthly meetings for about, I think, 7 months. And I really created them so that all of you could see each other, connect, network, since live events weren't happening. But I'd like to ask you a question after you do your introduction parts, if these are beneficial to you, if you think they should be improved in some way, what would be more helpful to connect with the women on this phone call? You know, have you actually made ties and connections? Have you bought from somebody, referred from somebody? So just, I'm going to go around, just if everybody can just give me a little bit of insight, it helps, because when you're producing events, you know, you're always hoping everything's going the way that you intend it. But if you don't get a little feedback, you don't know that for sure. And at the very end, I'm also going to, there's a couple new PR opportunities that I have, and I want to tell you about those, because I'm always trying to think of other ways that I can help promote and market the women in our organization. So that's just kind of a little overview of what the program will be like today. You should have received the sales contact list. It came, I think, at 11 o'clock perhaps. And once again, that has the contact information. I took your notes and I added the email addresses of everybody, since all members on the last call felt pretty comfortable with me including the email addresses. So I did that. So you have that, as well as the rest of the contact information for the women on this call. You each have, like, you know, because there's 6 of us, and I'm not going to talk as part of that. So you have like about 5 minutes to really talk each about whatever you want to share. It could be the same mission and statement you're doing. It could be something new that's happening for you, something new you're producing, some kind of input that you want from other women on this call. I'll watch it. If you get past the 5-minute mark, I'll kind of chime in. And then we'll go into some more, a little bit of networking time and some of the information I have for you. And again, I'm taping it. So if somebody says something and you can't remember exactly what it was that they were pitching or telling you about, especially because we do have Jody on the phone, and actually somebody from M&T Bank reached out to me today about my application form for the PPP. So if any questions about that, Jody was my contact for the PPP loan. So think of that as well. So I think we'll get going, and I'll start with Marion since she was on first. Thank you, Marion, again for joining, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Oh, I'm unmuted. Okay.
Oh, good. I think, so if everybody, I'll mute everybody. No, but then I might, if everybody can mute themselves, we'll just have Marion on speaker right now.
All right. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and to meet some new faces and new people. I'm always excited to meet new people. I love this whole concept. Actually, I really like Zoom meetings, you know, because I can hear everything. I can see everyone. When you go to a regular kind of meeting, sometimes you don't hear things and there's little side conversations. So I'm like become a real fan of Zoom meetings, especially for some of the groups I attend, because then I can actually hear and see each of you. So I mean, I miss being with people, but this has been a good thing. I'm Marion Andrews. I'm an author, a teacher, and a healer. I have kind of two things that I'm working on right now. One is the book I published in uh, December. It's right behind me there. It's called Gloriously Grateful. And it is the story of my journey with stage 4 colon cancer and my the adventure of dealing with all of the things of that, and also then my recovery and how that happened and occurred and all the things that went through. So it's kind of a book that's a journey, and it takes you through the things that are kind of ugly about the treatments and things that I was totally unprepared for. And so after living through it, I thought, okay, then I was encouraged by the angels and spirits guides that I had that to write this. They said people will learn from your book. So that's how the book came about. I had no intention of being a writer. I didn't spend my entire life wanting to write a book at all. I wrote a journal only after I was in treatment for cancer because they said journaling helps. So, okay, I'll do that. But it turned out to be a really big project, and it was seemed like I spent so much time on it that now it's in the next year and I'm like, oh, I'm all done. My book's done. Oh no, now they're telling me that I need to get and talk about it more. So one of the projects I have is looking for opportunities to speak to groups or meetings, associations, anywhere at all, to talk about my journey. I've done it a few times at a couple churches and it's been very well received because after all, if you think about it, almost everyone you know knows someone or has someone that is dealing with cancer or they're had cancer, etc. I mean, uh, it is still a huge disease. I mean, we're all stuck on COVID right now, but cancer is still there. So that's one of the things I'm looking for is opportunities to talk about my book and to tell you about my journey that ended up with my being absolutely gloriously grateful for everything that happened. And the other thing that I'm working on is a class about angels. Now, people say, angels? Well, one of the things that I have noticed when I'm talking about the book is people say, how did you get to know that how did you get to talk with them? Or how did you hear the angels? Or why do you feel like you have a personal relationship with them? How did this happen? So I've decided that I need to create a class talking about 10 angels. It's going to be 10 classes and telling you how that I have experienced them and helping you if you want that part of your spirituality to be involved with the angels, then helping you get in touch with. And each time we'll do a meditation with that angel so that you get that experience. And I'm really quite excited about this class. It's been kind of in the back of my mind, but the book had to come first, but now it's the class. So that will be coming May 29th will be when the class starts. So I will be sending more information and you'll be hearing about it oh gee, this is April, in May. Oh my. Oh, next month. Oh, I got to get my class going. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
That's really interesting. Of course, I relate in the sense that I wrote my book based on, the lessons I learned, the kindness and compassion that I felt from strangers who saw me as a bald woman and thinking that I actually did have cancer and I still get it. I'll be in a store and somebody will say, who is your doctor? And I'm like, I have to be careful about, well, what do you think I have? And I can usually tell if it's a female that it's usually about cancer, but yeah, there's a lot of a lot that we learn going through any life crisis. And so I think it's really important to document whatever makes sense because other people experience it too. And again, remember, Marion, that, and anybody on this call, that any events that you're doing, I am putting on the front of the Women Ties website for our members through the pandemic. So that is something where I can promote it for you.
Okay,
I
great.
don't take the money or the reservations. I send them on to you, but it's a great PR perk.
Right.
So
one of the things I did learn when I had no hair and I was bald, and I preferred not to have anything on either, was I went out in a rain, like, it was like, oh my God, these are huge drops of rain. Then they were thumping on my head, and I'm like, I gotta wear a hat. This is weird. I don't know how bald men do it, without a hat on anyway. So that was one of the fun things that happened. Lots of funny things happen during your whole journey.
Yes, so. I can imagine. Well, thank you for sharing. We appreciate that. Christy, I think you came on next. So why don't you unmute yourself and you get 5 minutes.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I think I've met half of you. So I'm Christy Mitchell. I'm located in Fairport in Rochester, and I have over 10 years of experience in marketing. And I kind of recently pivoted my business a bit to focus more on working with women entrepreneurs to help them do their marketing and their business more efficiently. So whether that's a social media strategy or revamping your website, strategy on email campaigns, anything related to digital marketing. But I work a little bit differently because I don't do it for you. I help you learn how to do it. And if you can't do it yourself, then I can get you in touch with contractors who can do it for you. But I really, truly enjoy working with women who do it all themselves and just helping them find better ways to do it. Because a lot of times people are going through the motions, doing all of the things, and then just kind of sitting there wondering, like, is this worth my time? How is this actually contributing to my business? Is it getting me, new business, or am I just going through the motions and not getting anything out of it? My recent exciting news is that I just finished working with a branding person myself to help me with this kind of pivot. And so I am making some changes to my website. It's christymitchell.com. I just revamped the whole homepage. And now I'm working on building out my offerings because I want to have specific packages. One of the things that I have come to kind of put together, and I'm still working on getting all of it up on the website, but it's called the Marketing Success Roadmap. And so it really kind of takes you through, you give me access to all of your accounts. I pull a whole bunch of data, start drawing conclusions from that, and then coming up with a game plan to help you improve everything. To help you achieve your goals. So I'm big on goal setting, trying to find out what it is you want to achieve by working together, and then coming up with a doable action plan that you don't feel overwhelmed by. So it's a very collaborative approach, and it is my most favorite type of work to be doing. So I think that's it. I'm looking to get on podcasts. So I guess that's a specific ask that I have. I have a couple in the pipeline coming up, which I'm really excited about, but if anyone knows of podcasts that are, really geared towards women entrepreneurs, I would love and appreciate an introduction.
Okay, awesome. That's perfect to know. Thank you, Thank you so much for sharing that. It's exciting anytime, being somebody who's been in business for 30 years, I don't think you can ever just have a business and not tweak it or do something different. You learn a lot, but it also brings like a new energy to you as the entrepreneur, whether it's the rebranding or the, offering a different kind of program or service. It's like you can't just stay on the road straight without doing something different to keep yourself engaged. So I think that that's wonderful. And I think that, Christy, your services are really needed because there are a lot of women, that just get stuck on social media. I know you don't, that you do more than that, but still it's something that's well needed. So
yeah. And I'm actually, another thing too, I'll put out there, if anyone has ideas of like topics that you'd love to learn more about, I do want to start thinking about, Tracy, I love that you put the offer out there to advertise events that we're holding. So I do need to kind of figure out my plan for doing some virtual events, educational to help people, work on their business. Yeah. I say smarter, not harder. That's my mantra.
Awesome. That sounds perfect. Thank you for sharing. Good luck with all until we see you again in a month. You stay on though.
Thank you.
Sounded like I was sending you away, but I don't want you
I'm
to go.
staying.
Okay.
I got to jump off a couple minutes before 1 because I have an important client meeting. But.
That's okay. Sounds good. All right. Thanks. Okay, I think, well, let's go with Jody since I keep getting nervous. I'm going to lose her, her cell phone line for some reason because I'm not looking at her face. So Jody, can you unmute yourself and we can see if you could talk for a few minutes? Jody, dear. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll hold on Jody then. Let's go over to Jill. Jill, why don't you go? You have 5 minutes yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jill Bates, and I'm a real estate agent for Howard Hanna. And a couple things popped in my head as we are meeting and talking, and I so agree with Marion that to see people for a few times in a row is very, very helpful. I can turn my volume up if I can't hear you. And for family Zoom sessions, I can turn the volume down if I don't want to hear. But anyways, yeah, I really have started to appreciate Zoom. I don't know that I could do it every day, all day, like I know some people have to do. So, you know, kudos to them. I want to remember to thank Tracy for connecting me with Deb Sargent.
Yeah.
Tracy put something on Facebook, and I just happened to be on my computer. I don't look at Facebook every day. I've been trying to do, you know, maybe every other day. So all of a sudden I see a post that Tracy said, if you're over 50 or 55?
55. 55.
Over 55 and you did a career change, like a dramatic career change, not, you know, retiring from what you've done for 30 years and then becoming a consultant, but a dramatic career change. And I went from being a seamstress altering bridal gowns to real estate. The common piece is dealing with people one-on-one. You know, I like doing that. I can do that. But just different things happened. I knew I didn't want to do the same thing for a whole bunch more years. So anyway, so I got into real estate sales 3 years ago. I've had my license for about 12 years. And I just would help out the team when they needed it. And so then my daughter had a team and her team leader retired and she became the team leader, and then she needed some help with sales. And so that door opened. I closed my studio. Here I am learning all these cool new things about real estate that even the most seasoned real estate agents don't know, like supply and demand. I know you all know there's way more buyers than sellers. So we've been trying to be creative in finding sellers. I got a couple repeats, so I have a few sellers in the wings. I'm excited about that. And you know, all the components that are involved in a real estate transaction, I understand them and I know them. I learned something new last week, which was when you take out a mortgage, the bank does an appraisal of the house to make sure that they are lending you, that if you can't make your payments, they're not lending you too much money. I'm trying to condense it. So anyways, we've had some clients that are, if the house does not appraise, they will kick in the cash to make it appraise, which I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Inspections are being waived because obviously it's more attractive to the seller. So, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on that are really difficult for the buyer. And I'm happy to learn this and happy to share all of this with the buyers. So that's the work part of it. The fun part of it is social media. Christy, I have you on my list, and to get in touch with. Just I don't. Yeah, we're doing a few things. We have an assistant. I like to do my own newsletter, So if you're not on my list, I think I have most of your emails. I will get you on my email list. I sent one out last month, and maybe some of you got it. I know Tracy did. It's called What Color is Your Door? And I talked about the Pantone colors and the yellow door and gray house. And it's just kind of fun stuff. And it just it's what I really like to talk about is color design, whether it's a dress or a house or a yard. So anyways, that I'm working on the next one. I'm trying to do that once a month, the middle of the month. So I've got a couple of ideas for the second one. I'm a very visual person, so I love to put pictures into my newsletters. They're short and sweet, and obviously, I just want you to think of me if you need a real estate agent, or if you know someone that does, or to keep my name, as we all are trying to do, keep our names in front of people. So that's working out really good. And then the other thing that we posted, and if you are on Facebook with me, our team is doing a coloring contest, and that's gotten some really great response. And so what we did with that, and any of you are welcome to join, because the coloring is for children and for adults, because coloring is real and for adults.
Oh, sorry.
And coloring is very therapeutic. So I think that those of you that are into that appreciate it. So anyways, we're doing this coloring contest. We pulled in the florist that we do business with, asked her if she would make an arrangement to give to our winner, our adult winner. The children winners will get candy of some sort. And then she's of the cup. So it's been really fun. People are sharing it. It's getting some attention. And I'd like to say that we thought of that on our own, but we actually modeled it after someone else.
Not all great business ideas start from scratch. I think they said maybe except for, there's always a wheel, just a creative wheel. And something I want to say just before we go on to the next person is, Deb Sargent is a wonderful freelance writer. And she has featured me so many times, and anytime I can send her to somebody else, I'd love to. And she just stayed in the Rochester area. So Marianne, I was thinking of you. Sometimes she comes to me very specifically, like, hey, I need somebody with this. And so I do post to the Facebook our private Facebook page, if she needs something ASAP. So, keep looking for that. Jack, I think that we connected her with Jackie already, because she used to do the Mohawk Valley region. Sorry, Christy, you'll have to wait probably 30 years to become 55, but those are the connections that I have through the media. So just keep that in mind. Thank you, Jill, very much for sharing all of that.
Only 20 years.
Yeah, you look so beautifully young. So okay, so let's go to Jackie, and then we'll go to Jody if we have her afterwards.
Hi, everybody. Tracy, thank you as always for these. I do like these too, because I love getting to know people and having more of a relationship with everybody. Then I think Marianne said it well. And let me just say to you, Tracy, first, because maybe you can follow up with this for me. Deb did interview me, and I thought I was going to be in the January-February issue, and it wasn't there. And I guess I haven't checked recently, but I did send her an email, but she never answered. And I do get that she's very busy and
yeah, but she's pretty good at answering. So I will send her an email after this when we're done, and ask her about it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then let me start by saying, I think all of you know a lot about me. And so maybe I'll say a few more things so you know about me. But I want to say to Marianne, first of all, I now say I'm an author also, and I have created this book. Also came out in December, and this one, Hooray for Parenting, is the workbook that goes with this. And I'll just say a couple of things about that. But so I never intended to be an author either. And I think you all know that I've been a psychotherapist. And I've mentioned that it's been like forever, lifelong. But I thought, well, maybe I'd tell you how I start, since how I started. And it has been essentially a career that has been a real gift to me. Um, and I have walked in many different uh, arenas, let's say. So I actually started, I got my master's degree right when I graduated from college. And my very first, we had placements in our training. My very first year, I worked with girls in parole. And following that, I worked in hospitals. My first real job was at the Mass General. And so I was essentially doing medical social work. And back then, it was before the era now where people talk about body mind. Social workers in Boston in the Mass General worked with the whole family and the whole issue of emotional um, issues that come with medical illnesses, physical disabilities for both the patient and the family. So I just say that because that's where I started. Then I worked in a low-income housing project. It was the first community health center in the country. And now that's a nationwide thing people just take for granted. But that was started by two physicians at Tufts University, the medical school. And the theory was that putting a health center in a low-income community would provide better care for people without means. So I worked there. Then I worked in a child psychiatric and adult psychiatric clinic, and worked in both child and adult. So then I moved to Houston. I had a private practice there, and then I moved to upstate New York, where I was the clinical director at Family Service, and eventually started my own private practice and had about 5 therapists working for me. So you get the trajectory. It's been long. In the 90s, I took one of the very early courses in coaching before people, certainly up here in central New York, wasn't a thing up here. And I had training in consulting and businesses, and I developed a leadership workshop for women, and I used to do retreats for women up at Piseco Lake in the Adirondacks. And so anyway, and then I had private practice. I've seen people, I like to say I've seen people from the low-income housing project to the boardroom. I have clients that have been very poor, and then I have clients that are millionaires. So it's kind of an integration of really a lot of real life experience. So why did I write a parenting book? I have worked with parents. I've given workshops to parents, but I've giving workshops to women leaders, and the weekend workshops I did. Everybody that I've worked with that happens to have children has issues about being parents. So that was one thing. The other thing is, in the work I did in the business world, I realized, and this was including for myself, that people in the business world, managers and CEOs and leaders, they have all this incredibly expensive training the companies pay for. But the kind of distinctions that are available to leaders are things that are useful, but are never presented to parents. Things like looking at, one term that's used is mental models, and now people talk more about your background assumptions And that's critical to understanding how you are as a parent. Um, Things about the growth mindset. You know, actually, I worked with one woman who's was doing consulting in a business in Houston and was all excited about emotional intelligence. Well, that was the fabric of that was introduced by Daniel Goldman in the early 90s. Yeah, Marion looks like she knows. Yeah, so anyway, but those aren't things that parents get trained in. In fact, there's very little real support and training for parents. So that's why I integrated all this stuff, and that's what this book is about. And so what I tell people is that this is useful. It's even useful to people who've never had parents. I mean, never had kids. So it can be for grandparents and parents and aunts and uncles and anything. But in terms of what I'm doing right now, in fact, this brings
If
me
you
back.
only have like, we're like at 6 minutes, so you have to just.
Oh, okay.
Quick.
I'll just say two quick. First, I wanted to, and Marion, you didn't say how to get your book. And secondly, I just will say I have a client now who I've known many years, but she has cancer, and I thought that would be useful. The other things I'm working on, I'm working with a counselor, family counselor in Houston on doing a continuing ed program for the therapist in a large group practice. And I'm working on a blog, and I'd love to have all of you on my list. This is not my favorite thing at all, which is one of the things in terms of Christie's work. I basically hate doing it as opposed to what some of the rest of you said. So I'll shut up. Thank you all.
And just a reminder always that you can find any of our members on the website, on our website, and there's, a pretty good sized profile where you can connect. Or if you really ever need to get a hold of somebody, just email me and I'll make sure we make the connection. But I want Jody to speak, and then when we go to our general conversation, Marion can let you know where you can get the book. Jackie, okay? Sound good? All right. Jody, are you there? Jody Davies via phone. Jody. Uh-oh, I'm starting to sing. That's bad news. Jody, are you? All right.
Am I
Oh,
there?
Oh, you are.
Here I am.
Oh my God.
Yahoo!
So
I've been pressing buttons like crazy.
Awesome. I'm so glad. It's your turn. You've got about 5 minutes to share whatever you want to.
Well, thank you, everyone. It was nice to reconnect. And Tracy, thank you very much. It's so nice to be back. I am in the midst of PPP world. We are, I want to say knee deep, but it's more like over my eyebrows knee deep in the PPP program. So hopefully, every woman entrepreneur out there took advantage of the PPP program and helped themselves to the funding that was available. It's been a successful program. My concern, of course, is who's going to pay for this program, but I think we might all be long gone by the time that happens. So it'll be our kids and grandkids that deal with it. But as a bank, it's been a very exciting time. Of course, COVID offered a side of businesses where they were afraid and they were concerned with what was happening in the world as a whole, because if you think about businesses and how their money comes into them, it is other businesses that might be doing poorly or got shut down altogether. So the chain of dollars, as you followed it backwards, there was gaps, there was holes, and there was some that just had the lag time. So as a bank, it's been very exciting because in my role, I work with my clients very closely, and I'm at their site as long as they are accepting, people to come in. I have a mask that matches every outfit at this point in my life. And so I've been trying to work with them side by side. Some companies need to have a little more care than others. It's an approach of, we're going to get through this together. We're not just going to call your loan or, force you into bankruptcy because you're not paying us on time or paying us a full amount. It's really been an experience and a lesson in how to manipulate, for a lack of a better word, the way that people are able to pay us, the loans and how we put them out there, the existing loans, how can we change them to make our clients comfortable in this current environment. So that's all driven this to a lot of different innovative ideas and ingenuity, all within, of course, the federal regulations that we have to follow. But so it's been very exciting, and there are companies out there that are doing very well and actually capitalizing on the pandemic and making money hand over fist. They can't find employees. So the whole banking side of things, I think, is a hub for all businesses because no company runs without money. So that has been my strength and my weakness and my focus and I want to just go to bed and not get up the next morning. So that's where I have been. Looking forward, it is a time where this Western New York area, we have manufacturers that are just growing and coming up with different ideas and retooling themselves to get through the pandemic. You see a lot of ingenuity in products being created. You see ingenuity in the marketing side of products. I've seen companies that just in midstream changed what they did and retooled themselves to be able to bring in dollars. So it's been very exciting. I've always worked with entrepreneurs. I live vicariously through them because there's nobody more exciting than an entrepreneur, and their enthusiasm is always so contagious that it really gives me that high that I get every day from meeting with my clients. And that's, to me, banking. And to other people, it's checking and savings and loans, but those are just products. They're not what I think of as banking. Banking is the person you pick up and call when you have a concern that has anything to do with money. It's a relationship where you are free to pick up the phone if you need to have another professional that you need to work with. It's having a relationship with somebody that you can pick up the phone and say, I need a vet. I need a recommendation for a surgeon. I need somebody to put a roof on. I need somebody to put a heating and cooling system in. It's a relationship where my clients recognize that I work with a lot of different industries, and I know my clients well enough that when I refer someone out, they are going to be a top-notch referral. It's going to be somebody that my client doesn't have to worry about if I'm referring that other partner into them. And I'm comfortable knowing that whoever I'm referring out is going to do a good job for who I'm sending them to. So that's how I see banking. And this pandemic has allowed us to reach people in different ways. And it's allowed us to actually become more of a friend than just a banker. And I think that has broken down some of the walls and the barriers for individuals when they think about who their bank is and who their banker is. They're seeing more than just I need to have this financial need fulfilled. They find that their banker can also be their friend.
Well, on that
So,
note, because as your time's, excuse me, expired, but I want to tell everyone that Jody did that. All of a sudden, last minute, I decided I wanted to try to apply for a PPP loan. And the deadline was March 15th. I think I reached out to Jody on like March 13th. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure you're busy, but do you think that I should do this? And how do I do it? And she was phenomenal in how busy she was getting me started and answering my questions. So I cannot speak, and I bank with M&T and started my account with Jody, even though I'm here in Syracuse and bank locally here with my M&T, but she was amazing. So I just have to say that if any of you are still contemplating applying for one, because there's a new batch of them, I think, available, right, Jody? Is there still
yes.
a time frame?
Yes, the portal has opened up again. So yes, if anyone is not done it, or if anyone has only done one and they are looking for their second round, the portals are open back up again to do that.
Yeah. So I can't speak highly enough for, just confirming what you were talking about, that you're really there for people. So consider Jody.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for your banking. Okay, well, everyone spoke. It's 12:45. So, and that was great. We learned a lot about different people. And I know Christy's going to leave a minute before the end, but I just wanted to, before I talk a little bit about just some of the services, the new services I have, if everybody can unmute themselves, are you happy with, so it sounds like most people still like this format until we can do live events. It's still beneficial to you, seems like. Is there anything, or anybody have any opinion on whether or not the timing should be different in terms of time of day and or how we have it set up? Depending on the number of people, your speaking time might be 2 minutes instead of 5 minutes. It just depends on what that time frame looks like. Does anybody have any opinions or suggestions? Or should we just keep it as is? Keep it as is?
The noon time
I'm
works good for me, and
Okay.
I really like, because I'm pretty new to this whole organization, I really have appreciated getting to hear what different people do and getting to put a face to them, so that it's been really helpful for me being new
Okay.
to this and having to do a whole different thing than I ever did in my life.
Yeah, I know, really. We've learned a lot about technology. Jody, you had something?
The time is fine, and I am looking forward to continuing on in this format until we can see face to face.
Yes, and the thing where I would like to test the first live meeting is at Lori D. Prospero. Rochester girls, you would know this. You might know her. She has Union Place Coffee Roasters, and she actually hosted me last year. But she took a huge leap of faith and has built out a brand new space in Rochester. And I want to support her because I thought she was so brave in doing it in the middle of the pandemic. And I know she was kind of questioning whether she should or shouldn't. And so as soon as she says that she'll host us, we'll go there for just, some type of networking hour and, meet and greet and support her at the same time. There'll be a small fee just so that we can pay for the coffee and whatever it is that she wants to provide. But I thought it was a nice way to kind of support her as well as open the doors to getting back out there to a live event. So as soon as she tells me, I'm thinking it might be more like June, we'll do that. And then I'm just testing the waters with when everybody's comfortable with going live again. in terms of events, and whether or not I can afford it, to be honest with you, because room fees are so expensive. I can't imagine catering companies coming back and opening up again are not going to charge higher room rental fees and higher food fees, which then kind of outprice what I would price for a luncheon. So, you know, I think we'll just have to see. Time will tell on that. A few things just so I can get you out of here to, or any other.
Trace,
Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I enjoyed these meetings. Another idea too, that I've seen someone else do, which I feel like you would be great at doing this because making connections is your thing. What she does is like a monthly networking where it's like, she's at every one of the meetings and they're only 15 minutes.
Okay.
So she sends out an invite to everyone on the list and then you could pick a time, but it's only her and 2 other people. So it's just 3 people, 15 minutes. It's really just meant to make an introduction, talk about your business very quickly.
Okay.
Like you only get a couple minutes to talk and then it's, you know,
Right.
left open to ask people questions. And then the idea is that you're going to set up another meeting separately to like get to know that person better.
Yes.
But I really like that format too, especially to make sure that you're meeting new people.
Mhm.
It's a nice, and it's such a short time commitment. But
Is that an in-person, Christy, or was it Zoom?
nope, it's on Zoom.
Ah,
And I had thought of that as well, because with the poolside chats, which once my pool opens up again, whether or not, I mean, there's a huge deck and it's a great space. Jill came out with Angela and Jenna Lee, and we had a really nice, they're usually 2 hours. Women used to, when I was first losing my hair, they would come and we would talk about their businesses. They could pick my brain or anything to do. And then I want to open that up. If there are women that want to meet in person here, and this is kind of an easy place for people to get to, I'm happy to host those. Or as Christy was mentioning, I had thought the same thing. I thought, you know what? If you've always heard me mention, say, Jody Davies, but you're like, I don't know how to get a hold of Jody Davies, then same thing, Christy. If there's somebody in the network, reach out to me and I'll try to do that kind of connection. So think like minds, think well, because there might be people that you read about in the Wednesday Wisdom, but you really, instead of just a phone call to them, we can do the quick Zoom. So I think that makes sense. So thank you, Christy, for that suggestion. And the pool side chats are still a benefit for anybody that wants to come on out. Jill and her gang got right in the water. Not everybody does. So
I think it was the last warm day of the season.
It was like September.
Yeah.
It was 85 degrees and we were all in the pool. So you don't have to. I have other people that come. We go in the pool house. It's nice and cool. Everybody stays dressed. So, varying degrees. The other thing I want to mention is just remember that I videotape the benefits, Women Ties benefits, on Zoom, and I put it on our YouTube channel. And so you can listen to that at any point to understand some of those benefits that you have and how to utilize them. And so that's on our YouTube channel. And I'll send that link out to all of you. The other thing is, if you want a Woman of the Week interview, Jill tested it for me as the first one. We did a Zoom interview and then I posted it on YouTube and shared it all over social media. So I think Christy and Marian, I think you both mentioned you wanted to do that. So if you two can individually email me, we can set up a time and date to do it. Figure a full hour at most. The videos probably don't go more than 25 minutes based on looking at the viewing time. A couple minutes ahead of time and a couple minutes afterwards. So we'll get them up and then shared wherever we can. Please, 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 if you could for me. I don't usually, it's not really begging. I guess it's asking as much as you can. If you have April 21st open, trying to have our first international speaker who's going to be calling in from England. And her name's Dr. Juliet McGrattan. She is a true doctor, and I met her through 261 Fearless. She's written 2 books. This is her second book called Run Well. And 2 people on the call will actually get this book. She's going to talk about, and I try to keep everything related to business. She's going to talk about the true brain benefits of being a runner or somebody who exercises and how it relates to you as a woman in business. She's brilliant, she's sweet, she's smart. So I want to see if we can get connected to international women. So if you could come, or if you know anybody that's specifically a runner or somebody in fitness that might really benefit from listening to Juliet, that's going to be April 21st. Our next big member meeting will be, or this kind of meeting will either be May 3rd or 4th, because the second's on a Sunday. And then on May 19th, just got confirmed that Deb Coleman, who's been on these calls before, is going to do a program on how to repurpose content to generate more sales. So you might have content, and Christy probably understands this. You know, I've written blogs since 2008. Well, should I be reposting stuff from 2008, or, you know, do I have to keep creating new Wednesday wisdoms to inspire everybody? She's going to talk about that. So I think it's going to be a really great program. That's going to be on May 19th. So I'm trying to do one educational event a month and one member only event a month for now. So that is that. Yes, go ahead, Marion.
Can I just say you can get my book at my website, marionandrews.com, or on Amazon.
Okay.
It's available as a Kindle or an ebook, as well as the hard copy. And it's called Gloriously Grateful.
I goofed that up the last time I promoted it. I think I put graciously grateful.
GG.
Yeah,
You can just, as long as you remember GG, you'll find it.
That would be good. And
where's your book available, Jackie?
Also on Amazon.
Okay.
Hooray for parenting.
I got the title. That's great. Thank you. I'm going to definitely get that book. I have a few great grandchildren that are producing many babies, and so they could probably use that idea.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Because I was very young when I had my children. That's why I have great grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
I totally understand.
And when we get to be over 55, we'll join that other group, right?
Anybody else have anything to share before we go here? No? And remember, if you do have any events for April, May, June, April's getting a little late, but send them to me. I'll put them on, as long as it's woman focused, business focused, or something that can benefit women, no men, please, no, you know, whatever. Send it to me and we'll put it on the homepage. And then I put it in the Wednesday Wisdom. So again, just another way to try to keep promoting what you're doing, whether it's a seminar or whatever event. And then pay attention to the women members that have things up. I think there are 4 or 5 women right now that have events posted, and support them too, all different things.
I'm Tracy, yeah. I might just say, is it Marion Raposa that's doing?
Mary Raposo.
Mary Raposa. I just wanted to say, I'll give her a little heads up here. My daughter-in-law found her on the internet and went to her just this last week and loved it. And she's thinking of doing that training that Mary's going to do. So in case anyone's interested in Reiki.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. She's right over in the other part of Syracuse. My sister bought me the Reiki self-care class, and we did it. It was 3 weekends in a row for like 2 hours on Sundays. And it was a way that you could, instead of going to somebody and practicing Reiki, which I know Mary and you do, it was a way to be able to use some of it yourself as well. And she's fantastic, and her place is beautiful too. And she offers a lot of things. So thank you. Yes, she's one of the women offering that program. So Marion, when you have something coming up with Reiki, let me know and we'll put it out there.
That's how I started, was with self Reiki.
Yep.
Through my treatment. So.
Yeah. Well, everyone, I always promise that I'm going to get us off right on time. So it's my pride of a professional event planner. It's always end on time. Anybody else have anything else? We have like 2 minutes. No?
I just want to say thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Nice
Thanks.
to meet all of you again.
yeah.
And same here.
And I'll send
It's
the
great.
recording out probably tomorrow. So you'll have that link so you can go through it again. And just
Okay.
remember each other, and remember to, to refer other women to the women that you've met on this program too. So
Great.
Enjoy your day. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.